These days we're all too familiar with the word allergy and phrases like I'm allergic to pollen or eggs or cats. There's a general perception too that more people have allergies than in the past. Is this because the subject is getting more exposure in the media, or are we really becoming less resistant to allergens? These are just some of the questions we'll be tackling in today's phone-in programme. In the studio with me today are Dr. Mary Edgerton, a family doctor, and allergy specialist Dr. Mohammed Bawadi to answer your questions. Our first caller today is Tim from Edinburgh. Tim, what's your question?
Hi, right, well, I suffer from hay fever, I'm very allergic to grass and the pollen from certain trees, especially in the spring. The really peculiar thing is that my allergy didn't begin until I was in my mid-30s. What I want to know is, why did I start so late? And do you think my allergy could disappear again just as suddenly, or am I stuck with it now?
Dr. Edgerton, would you like to answer Tim first?
Hello, Tim. Your story is a very common one. The fact is that allergies do not discriminate. They're just as likely to affect the old as they are the young. I'm afraid they can develop at any time of life, from 1 day to 60 years and beyond. As to whether you're stuck with your allergy, that depends. The best way to treat any allergy is to avoid contact with whatever causes the allergic reaction. Someone who is allergic to eggs would find it fairly easy to avoid eating anything containing eggs, whereas you would find it impossible to avoid all contact with grass and pollen unless you lived in a desert area or high in a mountain range.
Can I just add to what Mary has said? There is now evidence from research around the world that the most common age to develop an allergy is in your late teens, so you've not done too badly, Tim.
Our next caller is Arabella from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. What's your question, Arabella?
Hello. I'm allergic to peanuts, so of course I've got to be really careful about foods which contain even small traces of peanuts. But what I'd like to know is whether I'm likely to pass these allergies on to any children I may have in the future.
Thank you. Dr. Bawadi?
Hello, Arabella. This is an interesting question. In developed countries, all children have a 12% risk of developing an allergy. In your case, this would rise to a 20% risk. However, if the child's father also had an allergy of some kind, this risk would increase to 40%.
So, what about if the father and the mother have the same allergy?
Then, I'm afraid there's a 70% chance that the child will develop that allergy.
Thank you, Arabella. I hope that answers your question. Just before we move on to the next caller, can I ask you both whether we are, in fact, seeing a higher incidence of allergies in the population than in the past?
We most certainly are. Even though we're getting better at diagnosing and treating some allergies, there is a year-on-year increase in the number of patients visiting their doctor with asthma and various food allergies. Recent research has shown that in Britain and the USA, between 20 and 30% of the population suffer from some kind of allergy.
Oh, why is this happening, Dr. Bawadi?
Well, it's a complex problem. There are many theories about why more people are affected by allergies. Certain aspects of modern living are blamed by some experts. For example, the widespread use of air conditioning and central heating, combined with the fact that more and more people now work in offices, is thought to have led to an increase in allergic reactions to dust and mould. Vehicle exhaust fumes are widely regarded as being responsible for the increase in asthma in young children. You only have to walk through the streets of a large modern city to understand the strength of that argument. Some experts blame our modern culture for being obsessed with cleanliness, while others believe that vaccinations to protect our children from certain diseases may actually weaken their immune system and make them less resistant to allergens.
Thank you. That's very interesting. Let's move on. We have several people waiting on the phone-in line. Let's speak to Hannah from London.